Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going to be finishing up the exhaust on the Mark IV GTI. This is the last step, so I'll be putting the muffler into the system and wrapping it all up, and we'll finally be able to fire this up today, hopefully, barring any mishaps. It's Sunday, so if you've watched some of the previous videos, I said that my deadline was Tail of the Dragon at the end of the month. So I need to have this ready Thursday morning to leave for Tail of the Dragon. So I'm hoping to get it all done today. That way I can drive this car for a couple days before leaving and shake it down, because it's been sitting around for about 6 months since, last show season. So hoping to wrap this all up, and I'm going to take you guys along for some of it. If you guys want to watch videos of me fitting tube and welding and things of that nature, go check out some of the previous episodes of this. I'm not going to be doing that in this video. One, because it's a whole lot of time. Two, you guys have already seen it, so you don't need to see it again. So let's go through some of the materials that I'm going to be using, and then we're going to get fabricating this a little bit and get this back in the car. Here's the materials that I'm going to be using to complete this. So I have the leftovers of my 3-inch round stainless tubing. We're also going to be using a few pie cuts, because if you guys remember from the last episode, I did not leave the last pipe, flat. So we're going to have to straighten this back out and get it running towards the back of the car properly. We also have the last half of the V-band that I need to weld on. And then our Stainless Bros muffler that needs to go in so that this doesn't sound like absolute garbage. And we're going to use this 90-degree mandrel bend as our exhaust tip. So I'm going to cut this in my bandsaw and use that as the tip coming out of the muffler. The only other piece is the exhaust hanger, so I'm just going to bend that in a vise and weld that on, and that'll wrap everything up. So all of these products, with the exception of the exhaust hanger, was purchased from Stainless Bros. So you guys can find all this stuff on their website. They make really good products. The exhaust hangers you can buy from Stainless Bros. I just forgot to when I went to order all this stuff. So I ended up ordering these particular exhaust hangers from Summit Racing with some other products that I needed for a different project. So that's all the materials that are going to be used for this last section. And with that, I'm going to get welding and cutting some of this stuff up, and we're going to fast forward to when this is all done. So we'll see at the end of this. It's fully welded. Overall, super happy. So now that this is fully welded up, I'm going to throw it in the car, test fit it one last time, and then after that, I'm going to get all the pieces together and show you guys all the exhaust laying on the floor. Here's all the exhaust out of the car sitting on the workbench. So here's the mid pipe. This gets us through the straight section of the center of the car. This is the progress that was made in episode 2, I think. O2 sensors already put into it. The exhaust hangers welded on. This was the first exhaust hanger that I did ever. So it's not the prettiest welds in the world, but they're definitely solid. You can see I tried to wire wheel them so that they looked a little bit better, but it didn't really help. But they're solid welds, they're not going anywhere. So this is all ready to go. Next pipe gets us up and over the rear axle. So this will be the end that goes to the mid pipe. This is the end that goes to the muffler. You can see most of it is oval. It's got a ton of welding. This took me about 6 hours total to weld all of these joints, and 1.5 bottles of argon to back purge all of it and keep it somewhat pretty on the inside. This was my first time back purging as well, so I learned some things as I went, and definitely improved as I kept going. So this will be what gets us over the rear axle. I got 2 inches of clearance to the rear axle, which is better than what my old system was, I'm pretty sure. And then this is the muffler section. So these Summit Racing exhaust hanger mounts have like a pretty large mushroom end on the end of the hangers. So pulling these mounts off now are pretty hard. So I just left them on while I took this out of the car after test fitting it the last time. But this is the muffler portion. We went with a single tip exit instead of the turn down tip, which is what I had been talking about the entire time while I was doing this. Initially I was going to do the turn down exhaust tip because I didn't want to worry about trying to center this outlet in the center of the rear valence. Turns out when I weld it from the front to the back basically. So I had the V-band and this tacked together to the muffler, and then I had it tacked to the muffler as well. And when I did that and I threw it back in the car, this actually lined up perfectly centered. So I decided to forego cutting an extra piece of pipe and just went straight out the back. It also turns out that the chunk that I had left of straight round tubing was the perfect length to get me to the end of the car. So I didn't even need to cut this, which was awesome. I literally just welded it onto the end and, you know, called it done. So that's every piece that we've been using. Like I've said before, all this stuff came from Stainless Bros and Stainless Headers Manufacturing. Great products. Both companies produce stainless that welds super easy. It welded better than some steels that I've welded, and everyone considers like TIG welding steel to be the easiest thing ever. So super awesome. Super stoked on how all this stuff came out. And I'm going to get this back in the car. It's getting kind of late, so I don't know if I'll finish it tonight. But I'm going to get this all mounted back up in the car and hopefully at least get it started. And then we'll do a little test drive tomorrow, probably during the daylight, because it's now dark. So here's one last look of all the exhausts. It's now mounted in the car. Still going to tighten up the lock nuts over there on the V-bands, but they're tightened down for now. So we go all the way down through the mid pipe, and then this is where we transition over to go towards the driver's side and transition to oval tube right there. And then we go up and over the rear beam. I don't know how well you guys can see, but I got a pretty good amount of clearance there. And then come back down, transition back to round. That's the last section. Then there's the muffler and out the back of the valence. And that is how the exhaust is going to stay for a bit. Ooh. So it meets pretty much flush to the edge of the body. A little sunk, but not too terrible. This is also curved, so it's hard to like match it perfectly. But yeah, you got good clearance, so we're not going to be melting anything here. And now I'm impatient, so I'm going to go grab the keys and start this thing up. So there we are, got it all lowered back down, all put back together. So now we're gonna go take it for a test drive and see if this makes any weird noises or clunks or anything like that. I've checked the clearance to the rear beam, and I have probably an inch, which I think is more than what the last exhaust had, so I'll take it as a win on that one. Wish it was a little bit higher, but I think the weight of everything is kind of pulling it down. Maybe fresh exhaust hangers would help. I've never replaced them on this car, so They're, you know, 25 years old, I think. 2003, 20 years old. So yeah, now we're gonna go take this for a test drive and see how well it performs. Well, there we go. Test drive is done. No weird noises. As you guys probably heard in the video, the tires rub on bumps, but you can see how much tire I'm tucking back there, so that doesn't really surprise me. It rubbed with the old tires, so that's not a change. I probably need to raise that a little bit, but I'll deal with it for now. I've dealt with it for 5 years at this point. So, but the new exhaust didn't clunk or make any weird noises. I didn't hear any metal on metal, so I'll take that as a victory. So now I leave for Tail of the Dragon on Thursday morning, so I'm going to drive this car to work the next couple of days and keep shaking it down a little bit and make sure there's no weird issues before I take it on a 10-hour one-way trip. So that's going to wrap up this video and also wrap up the exhaust build. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed the content. If not, tell me what you want to see, and we'll see if we can work that into the rest of the stuff that I'm making. But thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.